Now, it is seeming like it is D-Day for today, which the day has finally arrived for former President Jacob Zuma. His long-awaited arms deal trial begins today in the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. Now, as the original whistleblower, Public Works Minister Patricia at Lille is expected to be the first witness. And questions around whether Zuma will have legal representation seem to have been cleared up, while his daughter has tweeted that the 79-year-old will be represented by Advocate Thabani Masuku. Now, our reporters Siphamandla, Goge and Thulasizwe are in Pietermaritzburg to make sure that we do not miss one bit of the court proceedings and all the signed action today. So let's head over then to Pietermaritzburg and, of course, hear what they have in store for us. Colleague, good morning to you. Stationed there, I can see, ready for what is expected to be the first day of the trial sitting, of course, today after 16 years' worth of delay. Will it sit? Can we expect the former president to be in court today?
Well, the dynamic has shifted somewhat, Dumelo, in the last 24 hours, in that until yesterday, there had been reports, media reports, that Advocate Thabani Masuku was going to represent the former president in this matter. But yesterday, in fact, last night, in that tweet, Zuma confirming that this is indeed the case, because there had been a question mark as to what happens with the issue of legal representation. In fact, just to demonstrate how much of a question mark it was, in the judgment that granted media access, Judge Piet Koen refers to the question around legal representation of accused number one and matters attendant thereto. So even in the judge's mind, there seemed to be an issue that still needed to be settled once and for all. But it would seem that actually that issue is now settled, in the sense that there is an advocate to argue before the High Court, Advocate Thabani Masuku, confirmation there and a picture to go with it from Zuma. That's a major development. Of course, we knew in the last few days that Mr. Bethwell Mondli Tusini from Vryheid, an attorney from Vryheid, has become the instructing attorney. That we also knew from the pre-trial correspondences and various applications, including this application for media access for eNCA to provide the pool feed for all the TV channels and online platforms. Even there, Mr. Tusini himself kept referring, was part of the correspondence referring to my client, using that to refer to former President Jacob Zuma. So it would seem to me we have an instructing attorney, we have an advocate in good standing to argue before the High Court. We are ready to proceed. Siphamandla, Goge, definitely it would seem that chances of proceeding are high. It may not be that, we have the witness called immediately, because there are also other preliminary matters that will come to the fore, including that matter of a full explanation from Eric Mabuza as to why they withdrew from this case.
Indeed, and also speaking about Advocate Thabani Masuku, he is not new on the matter. He has served in this court. He has argued before this court representing former President Jacob Zuma. He has been part of the legal team, which at the time comprised of Moses Kakane, Eric Mabuza. So at least in that regard, there is an indication that it's not someone new on the matter. It's someone who understands the case. It's someone who's been with the team and the client for a very long time. So that should settle the issue about proceeding on the side of the former president himself. But there are other issues. Before we can get underway inside court, Eric Mabuza would need to come and brief the court on record, explain his reasons for withdrawing, and then that will be put on record. After that, we can deal with other matters before we proceed. And that is very significant, because when Eric Mabuza and Muzi Sikakane gave that notice that they would be withdrawing, of course they did not provide the reasons for their withdrawal. But today we expect that at least Mabuza will come and provide those reasons, and then after that Thabani Masuku will take over the matter. In terms of witnesses, we have just received a statement from the NPA that they intend to call Patricia as their first witness. Whether she will take the stand today or not, it remains to be seen. But I doubt, because there are other preliminary matters to be dealt with before that.
There are always preliminary matters before you really get underway and get in full swing. And you're absolutely right. Minister Patricia de Lille will be in court, will be present in court, ready to be called as the state's first witness. Before we proceed, let me just show you inside court here, Dumelo. That's the live picture from inside court that we will be showing you right now in terms of what it's looking like. It's all set, it's all ready. The Perspex glasses that have been set up to sort of deal with issues of COVID and taking precautions, all of that set up. The screens that have been set up there inside are screens to allow for the participation of accused number 2, that is the company Thales, South Africa. They'll be participating virtually because of the travel restrictions. Whoever is representing Thales will be able to follow. And I imagine, that other people, other witnesses that may be needed to testify virtually will be able to do that. Those screens being set up such that all members of the legal teams, various legal teams, will be able to see that, but as well as a big screen inside court there that allows people, including members of the media and members in the public gallery, to be able to see exhibits as and when they will be shared, and also be able to follow and hear the witnesses as they testify. So that's a bit about what will happen inside court. Siphamandla, let's talk now about the situation. What we expect might be Advocate Thabani Masuku's first order of business, asking for the recusal of the state advocate, Advocate Billy Downer. It's been reported that he may go in that direction. It's not necessarily new, is it, in terms of a grievance of sort about Advocate Billy Downer on the side of Mr. Zuma and his legal team?
It has happened before, and the strategy before for former President Jacob Zuma's legal team has been to go for the lead prosecutor here, Advocate Billy Downer, arguing that he's driven by hatred in this matter. But we all know that in the past that was dismissed. So today we expect that he will come out guns blazing, or should I say, before we get underway, that matter, we expect that it will come up. They will raise it again. It's something they've raised in the past, but I don't think it will hold, as we have seen also in the past that it's been dismissed. But it's been part of their strategy to go for him, saying he has got interest in this matter, accusing him of being driven by hatred, of which it's something, as we have already said, that in the past it's been dismissed, and I doubt that they will make any progress moving forward.
And before we tease out the last element I want us to talk about, let's add that those allegations that they had made in their papers about Advocate Billy Downer were actually struck out by Mr. Zuma's legal team, which did include Thabani Masuku at the time and was led at the time by Advocate Moses Kakane. Allegations that he's driven by hatred, that he wants to convict Mr. Zuma at all costs, and that he has a kind of pining for apartheid-style prosecution. All of those being struck out as being vexatious and being taken out from that particular. It will be interesting to see what, if indeed they go in that direction, what would be the new argument. Interestingly as well, Siphamandla, if we rewind all the way to the Shabir Sheikh prosecution around 2003, there was a concern on the part of the prosecution that because Advocate Billy Downer, as part of this prosecution-led investigation style of the Scorpions, had been party to the investigations, in that he was key in the discovery of the encrypted facts, which mentions a bribe for quote-unquote JZ, but also had led the Mauritius leg of the simultaneous raids that had been undertaken, and they were worried that what if he's called by the defense to say, actually, we need to cross-examine you as a witness. So they had been ready for that. Enter Anton Steinberg to work with Billy Downer there. Lastly, Siphamandla, let's tease out the issue of political support. The dynamic has changed even there as well. I mean, what happened? 2018, the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC said, we won't be there. There's a resolution that says we are putting distance between ourselves as the ANC and those accused of corruption. But here we are on the 17th of May.
Before I answer that, I'm spotting some Presidential Protection Services members here and the bomb squad. They are busy sweeping here. But coming back to that question about the political dynamic, the ANC has a resolution to say, de-associate yourself with those who are accused of corruption. But in KwaZulu-Natal, the Provincial Executive Committee had to go to the party's officials of the ANC to beg them to say, please give us an audience, listen to us. We feel that we need to go to court to support the former president on the basis that every time he appears in court, there are people outside who are being addressed by quote-unquote hijacked elements. Now, there are people who hijack the platform to address ANC members using that platform of the former president's court appearance. Interestingly now, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has decided to deploy its chairperson, Sihle Zikalala, to represent them here in supporting the former president. That is a contradiction in a sense that the ANC has a resolution which says don't go to court to support people who are accused of corruption. Go there in your personal capacities. But there is a Provincial Executive Committee resolution now. It tells you that in future, how is the ANC going to deal with the very same dynamic and predicament, whereas someone is accused of corruption, including its Secretary General, by the way, Ace Magashule, whom we expect that he will come here to support the former president. How are they going to dissuade people from going to court to support ANC members and leaders accused of the corruption?
Shifting sense of politics. That's how it's looking, Tumelo, as we build up. In the style of the provincial division in KwaZulu-Natal, we do expect proceedings to get underway around 9:30. They do tend to start slightly earlier than other provincial divisions. So around 9:30, we expect proceedings to get underway. And as we said, Patricia de Lille will be in the spotlight in the sense that, you know, she will be here present in court with the prosecution indicating that when the trial gets underway, she will be witness number 1 of 217 witnesses that they expect they will call in this matter.